them fast.
I want to ask you bluntly then, Minister, in that vein, as someone who does represent a riding in Quebec, if going forward you would be explicitly supportive in principle of a pipeline that goes west to east through Quebec.
I would say things have changed. I think Quebecers realize that the rules of the game have changed over the last few days. So you cannot be in the past. You need to look forward in the future. And that may need that we need to be able to have transmission lines that could bring electricity east-west. That may mean that you need pipelines that would go east-west. One thing that Canadians understand is resiliency. We cannot be dependent. We have these natural resources. We need to be able to export to markets. And you know what? I think people understand better now the nexus between energy security, economic security, and I would even say national security. And in that context, that's what we need to be doing together. And I would say, the worst we could do is to keep with the old rules when the rules of the game have changed. And this is a different time. This is a different moment. This is for us now to shape the future together. And that's really what this summit is about.
How far, Minister, is a government that you're part of, though, prepared to go to force the kinds of infrastructure you now say that there is public consensus around? And in particular, I mean something that goes, a pipeline that goes through Quebec. Yves-François Blanchet this week said we are fiercely opposed to any type of transport on Quebec territory of hydrocarbons from Western Canada to any market whatsoever. It does not serve Quebec. It does not serve the environment. It does not serve the planet. Even the Premier, though he talked about diversifying markets, reiterated he did not think that there was social acceptance for something like Energy East. Are you prepared to push that?
Well, we're going to be engaging. It's not about pushing, it's about explaining to people the new reality we live in. One thing I know about Canadians and Quebecers, they want to be resilient. They don't want to be necessarily dependent on any foreign nation in order to ensure their energy resiliency and security. So we're going to engage with people. This is not about forcing anything. It's about really engaging with people and say, you know what, the rules of the game have changed. This is a new world. We've seen it in the last few days. So in that context, you need to also take stock of that and say, you know what is the alternative? Do we really want to be dependent on a foreign nation? Or can we better serve ourselves, our citizens, our workers, and our communities by saying, you know what, let's do things right. Let's do things systematically, but at the same time, let's think big as well. And I would say this is not just about, like you said, bringing gas from coast to the other. It's also about transmission lines where you can bring electricity to make sure that you would decarbonize economies and sectors in other provinces. So my point is that at this point of time, the worst we could do is to exclude things. You need to put everything on the table, engage in a rational discussion, engage with the provinces, engage with citizens. And one thing that I hear is that people are willing to reconsider things. You know what? Because the world has changed.